Hello, Skinner's Academy. My name is Tom Palmer and I'm a children's author, and some of you have asked me some questions, and I'm going to do some answers for you now. So we've got, how many questions have we got? We've got 10, so I'm going to answer them. But first of all, thank you very much for asking them, and I'm sorry it's taken me ages to reply, but I've just moved house and it's all been a bit mad. I don't know if you've moved house before, but it can be quite tricky. Anyway, here we go. So this is from Andreas in year 9. Why do you write books about football? I started off writing books about football because I knew that if you're going to write about something to start off with, it's going to be hard because you're not going to be confident when you're beginning as a writer. So whatever you write about, you need to be confident about. And I was confident about talking about football because I like football, and that's why I started writing about football. Now I try to write about other things, and to be honest, I try to write about different things, and publishers only tend to publish the books that I do about football and not the other ones, which is either because I'm rubbish at writing about other stuff, or because publishers quite like authors to write about one thing, one sort of book, because it makes them easier to market and sell and promote and publicise. So that's a very good question. Right, question 2. What inspired you to become a writer? I was inspired to become a writer by reading. I got into reading quite late, well, late-ish, when I was 17, and once I started reading other authors' books, it made me filled my head with stories, and it made me want to write my own stories as well. And so also I looked up to authors. I kind of wanted to be a bit like them, and that made me be a writer. Good question. That was from Yassi or Jassy in year 7. Right. Question 3. How old were you when you started writing? This is from Ezra in year 9. I started writing as a hobby when I was 20, and I got published when I was 40. It took me 20 years to get from wanting to write books to actually doing it as a job. And some things in life just take a long time, and if you really want to do something, if you really want to be something, you just have to keep going and keep trying. All the authors of these books behind me, and all the way up in my bookshelves, up there and up there and up there, they're my books that I like reading. They've all got one thing in common, and they didn't give up. They kept going and they kept trying. So that's why. Right. Question 4. If you were not a writer, what would you be? I'd probably be doing what I was doing before. Before I was a writer, I worked for libraries trying to promote reading and trying to get people to visit libraries and get books for free from their libraries, because that's what libraries are. And I loved it, and I still do, and I spend a lot of time doing that anyway. So definitely I'd still be doing that, because I passionately believe that we should be able to get books to young people, especially, without them having to pay for them, because they're very expensive. And libraries are the way to do it, and that was my job, which I loved. Sorry, that last question, question 4, was from Abra in year 8, year 5. Sorry, question 5. What did you do before you became a writer? Oh, I've answered that with the other question, the same as that before. That was from Godiva in year 5. Yes, I was a librarian, but also I worked in a bookshop, ran a book festival, was a milkman, was a university lecturer, worked in a warehouse, and other stuff. Just what else did I do? I used to type information into computers, which was really just lists of almost meaningless stuff. It was awful. So I'm really happy I've got a job of something that I like doing now. Question 6. This is from Daniel in year 10. What did you base the character of Ben? Did you base the character of Ben on someone you knew? Yes, I've worked with a lot of children in schools who struggle with reading, who have big problems with reading, and it's not just because they can't be bothered, it's because they really struggled. I struggled a bit with reading. I didn't. Well, I couldn't be bothered, frankly. But once I got into reading, I really enjoyed it, and it transformed my life and gave me dreams and ambitions to do things I would never have done before I read books. But there's a lot of children who can't read because they're dyslexic or because they've got other issues like that. And I wanted to write a book about a boy who was in that situation, to show that someone like that, if they've got that sort of problem, they can get help, and it means that they can have access to all the wonderful stories too. And I met children who are a bit like that. Right, sorry, did I just say? That was from Daniel, that last question, but I said that, didn't I? Right, question 7, are you good at football? This is from Ayrton in year 9. Not anymore, because I'm past it. I did my knee in when I was about 23. I used to be quite good-ish, but not anymore. But I do like fell running, which is my hobby. And fell running is like running on hills, because I live in a hilly place. Question 8. Can you put science fiction in your books, for example? Have it set far, far in the future, or have alien football? That's from Suleiman in year 8. That's a good question. Can I put science fiction in my stories? No, because I've not read very much science fiction at all. And to be honest, I don't like science fiction. And the readers have different tastes. Some people like crime books, some people like science fiction, some people like history, love stories, humorous books and stuff like that, and I just cannot get into science fiction. And it's either a dislike or a prejudice that I've got against science fiction books, and as a result of that, I'd be rubbish at writing science fiction, I think. So I don't think you should do it. Perhaps I'm trying to think of sport. There's sport with magic realism in it, which is like where real things and magic things sort of intertwine. So Mal Pete wrote a book called Keeper, which has that sort of thing going on. It's not really science fiction though. Sorry. You should do it, perhaps. Question 9. Will any of your books, especially the Foul Play series, ever be movies or TV series? This is from Ionut in year 7. I hope I pronounced your name right. I'm sorry if I haven't. There might be, I don't know. Foul Play was nearly made into a TV series, and I've written a story called Escape, which is about a prison camp for children. And if a publisher likes that, there's a film producer who's quite interested in it, but to be honest, it's quite unlikely. So I wouldn't hold your breath. But it might, you never know, one day. Question 10, I think. Sorry, this is the last question. I've just messed up a bit. This is from Asta in year 8. Which one of your books is your favourite and why? My favourite book is called Over the Line by me. No, my favourite book by me is called Over the Line. I have lots of other books by other authors that are my real favourites, but the favourite one I've written is called Over the Line. It's about footballers who fought in the First World War 100 years ago, and it's based on real men, and it's my favourite because when you write about real people, you have to do, especially about people who died in a battle for this country, you have to they did their duty for this country, and you have to do a duty to them, and so you have to understand what their lives were like, you have to know about them. And so I went to the battlefields where they fought, and I found the grave of one of the characters I was writing about. And when you write about someone and you found their grave, it makes you feel very emotionally involved with it, and that's why it's my favourite, I think, just because I'm so emotionally attached to it. Over the Line, that is right. That, I think, is the last question. So, thank you. I hope that helped. Those answers were all right. Thank you very much for asking questions. I'm sorry again about the delay with them, but they were really good questions actually, and they made me think. So, well done. And I know it's the summer holidays soon, so have a really good time and get lots of rest and do lots of fun things and read stuff, not just books